We had a listener question that we didn't get to. This was somebody on the one of the I don't know, meet pages on Facebook. I just put it out there that I was going to interview you, and somebody asked. I just want to get your response. So, energy expenditure, should I be eating to meet my energy expenditure, or should I just eat as much meat as possible to be really full?
No. So you eating until you're really full is meeting your body's energy
Thank you.
expenditure.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so, yeah, that's your body knows better than you do. So,
Yeah.
I calculated this and this is what I'm going to need. You do not know your biochemistry better than your biochemistry knows itself. And so, your body will ask for a certain amount of energy and it'll just say, yep, that's how much I want. When I'm working out more, I literally want double the amount of meat that I normally eat. And when I'm not doing anything, when I'm sedentary, like it just goes down. Like I don't need as much. When I was carrying extra body fat, early on, like it's just, I didn't eat some days at all, even though I worked out for 6 hours. My body's just like, no, you're good, fatty. Like just put the steak down. So, that was weird for me too, because I'm like, no, I have to eat because I worked out for 6 hours today and I'm going to work out for 6 hours tomorrow. Like I have to eat now because I have to have that energy. But obviously I had enough energy stored in my fat tissue, my adipose tissue to last 2 months, at a high level, so, that's obviously not the case. And so that was a lesson I had to learn as well. But it's like, it's absolutely the case. No, you just eat and your body takes care of the rest.
Perfect. Yeah. So the point I made to her, like I spent most of my career working on a metabolic cart. And so we would measure resting metabolic rate, which is the whole reason I found low carb and keto and carnivore to begin with. These people would come in and say they were fasting and their metabolic rates would be hundreds of calories higher than what it should have been based on the demographic. And so I asked this person, like, okay, how are you even validating your energy expenditure? Are you getting measured on a metabolic cart or not? And she said, no, it was just a calculation. I'm like, you have no idea the variance that we would see with the people that we would actually physically measure versus where their equation was. And that is only assuming that day, that 20-minute average that I took, that whatever conditions, that they followed the protocol exactly. It's still just an assumption. We're still just extrapolating data. There's no way to tell. And then you guess energy expenditure on top of that and exercise on top of that. And it's like we're making huge guesses, even using very expensive and really complicated equipment to validate this stuff. There's no way to know.
Yeah, and that's really cool. I didn't know that you had that background, but that's a cool way of looking at it. You're just like, look, hey, these people, their bodies work better, their metabolism is working better. Like there must be something to that. And you're bang on, because there is. When you go into, you stop eating carbohydrates, your basal metabolic rate jumps up by average of 250 kilocalories. You know what I mean? So it's just like, people say, oh, calories in, calories out. It's like you have no idea how many calories you are putting out in a day. You may be able to sort of roughly figure how many you're taking in. You have no clue how many you're putting out. And what you put in designates and dictates how much you put out as well, based on what metabolic state you're in and based on a number of different factors. But, if you have adipose tissue, your body's not going to want to use what you're taking in. It's going to want to dump that out. But if you're not eating enough, you're telling your body that we're in a famine time and, oh, no, we got to store onto this. So it lowers your metabolic state down.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so you actually find that people, when they're restricting, they're calorie restricting, even on a carnivore diet, they'll sort of not have the greatest results. And then all of a sudden they just say, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to eat what my body wants. And all of a sudden, then they start losing weight. They're eating more calories and they're losing more weight. Why is that? If it's calories in, calories out, that can't work. So it's not calories in, calories out. Clearly,
that's right,
because that's what happens. And there are some people, but very few, who sort of listen to their bodies and actually put on weight. Most of those people will come around and turn around, though, and they'll,
because the metabolism comes up, it speeds up and starts burning off excess.
Yeah, and so and the thing is too is like some people, for whatever reason, are going to put on weight for a little while, but it all comes full circle, and then eventually they start losing weight, and they actually don't even want to eat as much. Sometimes we see this in people that are very leptin resistant and have a high leptin level, but it's not all of them, because I have plenty of patients, and we measure their leptin, which is the satiety hormone that comes from your fat cells and tells your brain that you have energy and you don't need to eat, and you don't need to worry about it. And if your leptin gets, above a certain number, in Australia, it used to be like, sort of 4 to 6 is a good leptin level. They say your leptin levels get above 100, you will not lose weight. This is what bariatric doctors say, weight loss
Holy shit.
specialists say. So you cannot lose weight on your own. Your body will not let go of its fat. You have to get bariatric surgery. Those are the ones that get referred to bariatric surgery. I came into this clinic, this functional medicine clinic. They do a lot of bariatric medicine and weight loss stuff. And I got them into the whole carnivore diet thing. That's why they asked me to work there, because of my work in carnivore.
Wow.
And we would see these patients with leptins of 110, 120, put them on a carnivore diet, that leptin just starts dropping and they just start shedding weight.
Wow.
So, it's not exactly what people think it is. There are some people though that still retain onto that weight or even gain weight. And I've noticed that, at least, from the ones I've spoken to who have checked this, their leptin was actually quite high,
Interesting.
So yeah, I think there's something going on there, but it's not just the leptin, because I've certainly seen that leptin just come right down. So there's something else in the mix as well. I'm still trying to figure that one out.
Interesting. Yeah, that's very well explained. I really appreciate that.